Welcome
Got
back,
it.
everybody. This is Night Flight, and I'm Judith Quoba, and the lovely Trina Phoenix is back, and she's with me tonight, and we are going to talk a little bit about the energies that are going on. So, Trina, welcome back.
Thank you. So nice to be with you, Judith. You're just a wonderful, amazing, beautiful human being, and it's an honor to be a guest of yours. So thank you.
Oh, thanks. So, Trina, I wanted to ask you, what the hell is going on here? I mean,
What the hell is going on here? That's
feel...
a great question. I think, in all honesty, I mean, to break this down in the simplest terms, we're in another major closing of a cycle and beginning a new one. And those times are always extreme challenges will be placed in front of us, but it's to help us grow into something better and new. So it's going to be interesting, challenging, but oh, I think it's going to be well worth it.
Yeah. So what I hear from that is that you are not that concerned about a nuclear war or stuff like that.
You know, if that was to happen, we wouldn't care anyways, because we'd be gone. You know, if we were hit directly, you know, the ones that would suffer were the ones that would be left behind if that does transpire.
I would not be interested in surviving a nuclear war.
I don't know that I would either. And you know, I think that's what will eventually and ultimately prevent it. Yeah, because I think if they destroy this planet, I think they're going to realize that they will no longer be able to control it because none of us will return. We're done with your stupid game. We're moving on. I got better places to go. Yes. Absolutely. Right. So with that, yeah, I'm not at all scared or concerned. I've known, like I said, when I was little, my invisible friend was the Lord. So he showed me things when I was small that kind of scared me. And now that I'm older and I understand energy and I understand that I'm not my physical body, I am more than this physical body. It changed my perception and perspective about what I saw when I was little, because he did show me an asteroid impact on this planet, but it doesn't destroy the whole world. He did show me New York City potentially having some serious issues. And the word is that was supposed to happen on April 19th, and it did not happen. And we are moving timelines. And I'm seeing strong evidence of this. And that is because of us and the way that we think. And we're like, screw your agenda. We have our own.
Yeah, I'm not interested in playing.
Me neither.
I'm not going to play your game.
No,
I'm leaving the sandbox now.
That's me too. It's either figure it out, learn how to play nice, or I'm out or you're out. And whichever way that goes, I don't care. I truly do not have an opinion of it one way or another, because I know Creator is way smarter than we are. And I know that they're having a big part in how this is supposed to go down too. And that was one of the things that the Lord told me over and over again when I was little. He said, don't remember, you came here to do 3 things. You came here to graduate. You came here to remember who you are. And you came here to win. Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking along the same lines, because if we manage to go through this period of time with a certain amount of dignity and calmness, I would say once we leave this realm, that is summa cum laude, the cosmic summa cum laude.
Yes, bye-bye, baby. Yeah, we're done. We graduate with honors. And like I said, to be of service to humanity, to learn how to love yourself, forgive yourself, have compassion with yourself, but not have it in an ego-based driven agenda, but you can't love another person until you can learn to love you. And I think this is the biggest thing is, we think we're these bodies, we think we're these personalities, and it's like, it's all just a concept. It's a concept of what you imagine you to be, and you're creating that every day. And you can recreate it every day. And that's another beautiful thing that I found through this process is nothing is truly set in stone.
Yeah.
And when humanity gets to a place, and whether or not they do will determine whether we win or we lose. And I was told when I was small, this would be quite a challenge. And if we accomplished it, that when we leave here, we would be known as the gods of the impossible. I was like, well, that's a heck of a title. The gods of the impossible. We came to do what they thought could never be done. Because when we come into this reality, we really do anchor into ourself. And we really think that this is what we are. And that's the biggest obstacle we have to climb, is understanding that you as yourself are a thought form. And you have manifested your physical being based upon your power of your spirit to manifest thought forms. So we are an expression or a thought of creation. And now we take on that image, and we are that image. But we get lost in the fact that that's not all we are. We're more than just the body. We're more than just the thought. We're more than all of that. And that's the oneness of creation. And all of us have the same exact amount of that inside of us. None of us are different when it comes to that.
Trina, when you were on Wayne's show just a couple of minutes ago, I was listening in, and at the very beginning, you mentioned something that I found quite interesting, but you didn't dwell on that subject. So here it comes. You mentioned something that you are working on your template. So could you elaborate a little bit? So first of all, what is this template and what are you doing?
It's really kind of hard to explain because these concepts are really hard to put into words. But the best way that I can express it is when I was little, I would ask God, what am I? How did you make me? How did I get here? And I would have all these questions. And what he would show me was, you were a thought out of my creative expression. And when that thought hit space or the waters of creation, the deep, dark space, your thought form came into life through a word, a sound, a thought vibration. So whatever the concept was that he was utilizing to form me out of all the choices and potentials of creation, this thought form expressed as me as an image of whatever they say image of God would be. It's probably just a basic human template, in my opinion, to carry an operation in a material world. Because in spirit, it has no form and it can become anything. But so these templates are based upon vibration, thought, and geometry. And the thought and the vibration produce friction. And that friction produces light, and that light produces sound, and that sound produces geometry, and that geometry forms the template. So that was how it was shown to me. So what you think about, you build about. You're creating templates of reality and existence and perception based upon thought forms that are taking on material form. They only become material if they can utilize the template. It's like the command has to have a command running system in the program, or the command can't be received. So basically that's what it is. It's like you lock in with these command signals and they create templates, and those templates allow you to come into the physical material realm. So what I saw was we're building the template of the original Earth, the original dream of Earth, the original thought of Earth, because it's been taken over by dark forces and turned into a shit show. So we're going to restore the organic template of the Earth, which Earth is heart. It's about the magnetic forces of the divine feminine. If you look at history, our oldest history shows that there was no patriarchal worship. It was all divine feminine worship. And that's just people not understanding that the material world is an expression of the feminine part of God. Anything that's material is mama. And anything that is spiritual, not formed, but all potential, is father. So they are one unit, but they form different parts of creation. So this is the part that I think was intentionally suppressed, because if you start to understand the divine feminine, that's where you start to understand the templates of creation. And think about it. The symbol of her is the star.
The symbol of whom?
The divine feminine power
Okay.
is the star. And that's because it's earth, air, fire, water, ether. And then also it was shown to me who, what, when, where, and why. And the why is ether. And the why is the most important part, because it all starts with the spirit first, and then it comes into the elements, but it's spirit first. So this is why you always see the pinky symbol. This is like, they're like, ooh, that's because, ooh, I'm going ether. Ooh, look at the mini me. These are all symbols telling you where the beginning is actually in the smallest part. It's going to be in the ether. It's going to be in the invisible. It's going to be in the unseen. And when you work with the spiritual powers to bring them into this world, they have to go through the material templates, chemicals, alchemy.
Yeah. So would you say there is a necessity to return to original templates before
Yes,
everything got screwed up?
Yeah, I think that's how we're going to heal the viruses that got into our system, our computer system. You know how you do a full system restore and reboot? It goes back to the original settings. That's exactly what I'm seeing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. So we have, we know, for instance, that we can have.
She's so what? She's like, hi.
And of course, she has to stick her butt into my face.
I love it. She's like, sniff, sniff. See, we're friends.
Yeah, but she's a cutie, so okay. We know that real parasites can that you have in your body, that you got via food or whatever. So we know that parasites can diminish your cognitive function. Yeah, they can influence that. Have you ever investigated if there is a connection between having these real parasites and then the parasites that etheric parasites that might be in somebody's aura? Is there a connection?
I absolutely believe that. And I believe the etheric parasites obviously would hit you first, and then the parasites in the material realm manifest through that invasion.
Okay.
So yes. So think about it. If you want to correct a parasitic infection, the two nature's remedies for that is grapefruit seed extract and wormwood.
And wormwood?
Wormwood. Yeah. Yeah. Think about it. In the Bible, it says, I will bring you wormwood. Wormwood. Yes. And that's the treating of the parasitic infection, because this is not only in us, this is in the earth. This is in the aura of the earth, just because we're a reflection of it. So it's all connected. And this parasitic infection, I'm pretty sure that's what got everything out of control. And I'm pretty sure that's the symbology in the Bible that speaks of the serpent entered into the garden. I think it's a parasite. It was a mind virus delivered through a parasite. And that would be hence the fall of man, because that parasitic infection messed with our brains and it brought the body vibration to a very low frequency, and it shifted everything because we create the reality. So when their perception and their physical body was taken over by something harnessing and eating the energy and deceiving and putting thought forms into the head, breaking down the systems in the body, it's going to cause a massive lowering of vibration. And that's what was needed to drop down this matrix into a place where it could accept new templates of their behalf instead of the ones that were original and organic to the earth. And basically put her in a frequency cage because they were able to drop the frequency low enough to get a new cage put around it, a new template overlaying the organic through a lower vibrational set. Because it matches.
So, you know what that reminds me of? There is a myth in the Zulus have it, and there's another culture, but I forgot. So there is this story of two brothers that brought the moon here.
Yes.
And these two brothers, when they brought the moon, that ended the golden age. And as a result of bringing the moon here, the earth somehow shifted.
I think, Judith, there's something right with that. I know it. I know it in my spirit. I don't know how, but I know it's something's accurate with that. And that's interesting because, okay, the sun, if we had, and at that time they say there were two suns, and then one of the suns was removed and they brought in a moon. That would make perfect sense on how the polarity shifted on everything. Because if they took away the second sun and replaced it with the moon, that would be a different, it's the receiving part of us. So this is the part that would bring in the templates. So that would make perfect sense because it's the negative magnetic pole that they're dealing with. Even if we had two suns, one was lesser, one was positive. So one was positive, one was negative. Even if it was two suns, one was operating in lesser light, one was operating in brighter light. That would be the golden age because we would be wrapped within light and light. Well, this puts us into dark and light. Polarity, the split, the drop of vibration out of the golden age into duality. That makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, some people speculated in the Zulu tradition, they have, of course, their specific names. As I said, other cultures have a similar story. And what is interesting also in that story is that they called it an egg, this moon, and that they scooped out everything from inside, and then they navigated it towards Earth. And there have been a lot of schools of thoughts that say, the moon is an artificial construct. It has nothing to do with our Earth.
It is, because if you have the ability to travel in the astrals or remote view, I wouldn't suggest doing it often, and you better put on a cloak of invisibility and make sure you're damn well shielded, guarded, and bring your angels with you because you're going to need it. It's a bad place. It's not a good place. It is artificial, and it sounds like I don't even know how to explain it, a grinding, growling clock thing, and with ting, 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 it's just weird. It's just not good. And it is loaded with aliens, loaded, and they're the ones. This is, I'm pretty sure, where they've got the ability to move timelines through the mirror system. And this is a big station. But I do have a very strong suspicion that they've got control back of the moon again. The good ones, the good guys. I think they got a hold of the moon again for the first time in thousands of years. I think they have recaptured the moon, and they're clearing it out now. And it's going to be one of the last places to get cleared, but they're working on it. And I think it's getting close.
Yeah. So when I read that part where it says they scooped out everything that was in this so-called egg, I thought, yeah, another way looking at it is refitting a spaceship.
Yes. And it's also taking out the most important part, which is the life. They scooped out the yolk. They scooped out the life and made it an empty shell. And basically it's dead. So they've killed it. And that's probably why it's the only thing that doesn't spin in the entire system. We never see the other side of the moon because it does not rotate.
Some people speculate that these two brothers might have been Enki and Enlil.
Absolutely. Or Abel and Cain. It's the same two brothers all the way through thousands of years, because what they are is their thought forms. They might have different names when they express in the material world at different times, but it's the same two entities. It's the same two energies. It's the same thing. And then you think about it, Abel was killed by Cain. So I wonder if Cain was the one that killed and scooped out the moon, took out its internal guts. And think about it. What do the dark ones do? They're scooping out the internal guts of brains and babies and stuff to feed off of that life. There might be a lot to this. A lot.
Yeah, I think that we have underestimated mythology for a long, long time.
I agree.
It's, you know, it doesn't have to be correct what we thought about and said about it now. It might be different, yeah, but anyhow, it is high time that we take another perspective at those
We
stories.
have to. Because you're so true. That is so absolutely accurate. The names have been changed, but the essence of the stories always remain the same.
Yeah.
So there has to be truth in it. Why would it be repeated every 200 years or every 1,000 years or over and over and over again? This always goes back to the two brothers. And then again, you can look at it too, just like Jesus and Satan. Again, potentially the Mormons believe two brothers. That's what they believe. So who's to say that it's not right? It could be. This seems to be about the battle between the two brothers, and it's always one is the first murderer, which means it's a service to self individual. And the other one was gentle and docile and was easily taken down and murdered because it was a gentle soul. So it's the polarity between that, the aggressive nature versus the gentle, the murderer versus the hero. This is all about the dance of duality. And you're going to have both of those characters in a dual world for the duality to exist. So it has to be here to experience duality.
Yeah.
But the thing is though, we don't have to exist in duality. There's always some form of it, but this extreme of where we're at, oh wow, this is low level stuff. We are definitely on the dark end for probably since our second sun got removed and replaced by the moon. So you're probably right, Judith. I bet you that is exactly when we experience the fall or the lowering of the Earth's vibratory field, which created new material world.
Yeah, we have many ancient texts that speak of a time before the moon.
Yes, I've heard of that too. And I think that there must be something to this. It makes sense. And that's what I see now. We're going to go back, we're flipping again. We've been through the 7,000 years or whatever. And then what happens is Saturn's return and Pluto's return, these monumental cyclical things, and we just entered the age of Aquarius. See, this is a grand cycle, minimum cycle, major cycle. All three cycles are coming to an end and a new beginning at the same time. This is a huge thing. That's why they keep using the word, we're going to redo this whole thing, and think about it. I've seen old ancient maps that show the different circles within the earth of the potential of a more flat layering plane within the sphere, because I believe both concepts are probably accurate. We live on a round sphere of a Torah field, but our plane might be flat because of the water. Water goes level no matter what. So I contemplate all that stuff a lot. But in this map that I saw, they showed two suns. And one of those suns, his name was Anubis.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then they showed the moon as being Set. So this was the return of Set.
Yeah.
And they got rid of Anubis,
Because
just like they got rid of Abel. Cain killed Abel. It's the same story. So then, but what happens on the seventh, 7 years later, God gave Adam and Eve a new child. In place of Abel, they gave us Seth. So this is going to be the time where I'm pretty sure we're in the window of time, mythologically, allegorically, metaphorically speaking, where we have been in the rule of when Cain killed Abel. We are now in the Canaanite lineage. We're in the Cain system, which is extreme aggression, duality, polarity. But after a certain amount of time, that cycle ends and we will have the return of Seth, which is the replacement of Abel. So we go into the golden age. We go into the more positive expressions on earth, which means the templates will change again and they will go back to the templates of Abel, not Cain.
Mm.
And I do think Cain is where we get all the serpent lineage. That's where we get the serpent. And the serpent was brought into the system, into the garden, and it was deceived Eve and blah, blah, blah. This is about the invasion of a serpent, which is a parasite.
Yeah, and you have throughout history in all cultures, you find so many snake deities. And
the thing is, too, it's so terrible because all of our symbols have been used and turned around into darkness.
mhm.
And that's why our medical symbol, we've got two serpents on that pole. One is black and one is white. That's what I'm saying. Everything here is dual. So the serpent can save you and the serpent can slay you.
Mm.
Which pole are you utilizing? Which serpent are you in alignment with? Which serpent or parasite are you going to allow run your body? Because you have both and you will align and connect to whichever one you choose. And that's based on your emotional frequency. What is emanating from your magnetic heart is what pole you are sitting on. It's that simple. It's what you feel about, you are about, and you become. So it's more, thoughts are very powerful, but if the feeling doesn't match the thought, it cannot manifest. So thought is the most, it's the beginning, but the ending is the feeling. If you can't match the feeling part, you can't vibrate in the right template to make that come manifest in the real world. So this is about unplugging from one system and plugging into a new one.
Mm.
Yeah.
And when you mentioned Anubis, Anubis is associated with the underworld, yeah?
Yeah, he was the gatekeeper of the underworld, and he was the one who brought people safely into heaven or the opposite direction. Yeah. Some
Yeah.
of them he took them to the river of Styx. Yeah, he's the gatekeeper. So yeah, it's interesting. A gatekeeper showed up and initiated the entrances into the underworld. We're in the underworld. This is where we're at. This was Anubis land. Anubis is definitely attached to Set.
Mm-hmm. And
Yep.
I have to circle back there. And on that map that you saw, one of the suns was called Anubis.
Yes. Yep. Yep. Yep.
Mm.
Yep.
Yeah, you know, when Saturn was our sun, when Saturn ruled during the Golden Age,
Yep.
that was a totally different energy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because of the vibration of the universe, the vibration of the solar system, just the vibration of the solar system. So yeah, the solar system, and see, our sun, one of our suns was removed. So it affected our solar vibration, because without that light, we dropped in frequency. We got brought down into darkness, into the underworld, because in the upper levels, we don't have night and day. There's always light. There's never, there's always a soft light, but you can always travel into the deep spaces for creation and stuff like that. So it's somewhere you can go in your mind. But yeah, when a lot of people die, they're going to spend a lot of time in the darkness, and don't be afraid of that, because that's a beautiful place of your origin. It's not a scary place. It's a safe place. Just create a safe
Darkness
place.
is fertility.
Yes,
You cannot just throw the seeds out and let them rot in the sun. No.
Right.
You have to put them.
They have to go in the soil. They have to go down deep into the clay. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So a lot of people have a lot of connotations about darkness being all bad. And it's like, no, darkness has the most beautiful gifts you will ever receive in this world, because it comes from the divine feminine, the subconscious, the part of you that you have no awareness of, the part of you that makes your eyes blink, your hair grow, your food digest. You don't have a conscious knowing of how any of that works. It works because of that power inside of you. And that's her power, is the parasympathetic, the endocrine, the alchemy that controls our cycles. Think about it. We menstruate according to the moon. This is the power that has been placed upon us by this new power in our solar system, being the moon. Yeah.
So the Egyptians also had the belief structure that the human being has two souls, the Ba and the Ka. The Ka is that one that remains with the body after death, and the Ba is that one that heads out into the cosmos or into the afterlife. So let's
that
put
totally
it that
makes
way.
sense. Well, because K is a splitter.
Yeah.
K would be the splitter. So that's where you're coming into the physical duality material realm. And that's why the Ba would leave with you, because A, B originals. B is mother. B is womb. You're going back to the womb. You're going back up to the womb. That's the part you take with you, because it's the B part. The B is the Bethel. It's the womb. It's the house of bread. It's Virgo in astrology. It's the virgin. That's what you're doing. That's the Ba. So that makes a lot of sense to me. And the Ka is the splitter. The Ka is going to be the material world, and it's going to be the representation of the physical body. And that's why they say Kabbalah. Kabbalah.
Yeah. Kabbalah.
Yes.
Kabbalah.
Yes. Yes. And abracadabra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a similar story in again in Africa, where certain tribes they speak of these two different souls, and in their version of the story, if somebody that just died, I mean, we have in the Bible, for instance, the prophet Elijah, he lays his body on somebody for 3 times on a boy, and then the boy is resurrected. So, and they say in their story that if the body is resurrected just with the Ka, not with the Ba, then that is what constitutes a zombie.
I would agree.
Okay.
I would agree. Because see, then I see 3 bodies. I don't see 1, I see 3. So I see that you have body, mind, but then there's the spirit part, It's different. And that's the eternal, immortal part of you. That's the part that cannot be messed with. It cannot be touched. It cannot be destroyed. It is eternal. So when you take on a physical body, you're incorporating a part of that spirit into that body, into that mortal part of you, which mortal means mortis, mortgage, mortgage, death pledge, death. It means when you, right, you become mortal, you become a corpse. You will eventually drop the body. The body is only, it's a physical thing. So I see that when you have your ka, ba in operation, you've got body, mind, but the third element, spirit, is present. But when you lose the ba, all you have left is body. You've got the body and you've got the mental constructs. So you've got the body will operate and it'll have memory and it will have function, but the spiritual presence is gone. The soul essence, spiritual presence is gone. And that is literally an animated robot with no spirit. So yes, I would deem that
like
Walking
an
Dead.
automaton.
Yeah, a Walking Dead. There's no spirit. There's no life in it. It's going to die quicker than a normal human because it can't sustain its life. It's not regenerating. It's draining. And you will see that those beings too will drain and suck the life out of you because they need it to survive. So zombie and also vampire.
You know what always puzzled me with the Egyptians, though, that they were so obsessed with preserving the body after death, as if they really believed that if we do not preserve it, there cannot be any resurrection or whatever, or reincarnation, or whatever you might call it. And so personally, I couldn't care less what they do with the body afterwards.
I loved when, oh God, who was it? I think it was Sylvia Brown years ago. She was a famous psychic years ago. She's passed away, but she was so funny one time. She says, you know, I think the best thing to do with my body when I drop my body, she goes, I really don't like my next door neighbors. She goes, I really want my kids to throw it over the back fence. I was like, oh, that is so great. So yeah, I was like, you know, that's a really good way to look at it. It's trash. Just throw it over the fence. You know, who cares? So that was another time in my life where I was like, wow, if you really feel that way about your body, that means you really do believe that you're more than your body. And I was like, and I know that I am too. So that really resonated with me. So the body, but you know, when I look at religion, thousands of years ago, man, Judith, there was a lot going on with blood worship. So they knew the power of what was in the blood, and they all say the life is in the blood. So that is probably what they misconstrued, was thinking it was the physical DNA that had to be the anchor so you could come back into this physical dimension. They misconstrued it, but they were right, but they just didn't have a full understanding of it. It's the spiritual DNA. It has nothing to do with the physical. The physical is matter. It's going to decompose and dissolve and degenerate no matter how well you protect that mummy. There's going to be nothing salvageable after time. It's just how long, but it will eventually be destroyed, and the earth or whatever could swallow it up and consume it and throw it into the lava. There's a million different ways that matter eventually will transform or be completely destroyed. So it was a misconstruing of the importance of the life and the life being in the blood. And I'm pretty sure that that's where a lot of that comes from, because they did understand the value of blood. And I think that's why we see a lot of the Bible, it specifically is speaking of two different lines of genetics, because the blood meant something.
That also brings me to our time. I mean, we have the transhumanist agenda, and that also touches on immortality, you know, this desire to have immortality. and then which I find funny because you already have it, just not in this physical form. And
Oh, you bet.
yeah, and so now
Mhm.
the solution to them is merging with the machines and chips and what have you, and that way, by uploading your consciousness into a cloud, into a computer, whatever, yeah, they somehow think they can trick death. But not only, even a machine breaks down after a while. Yeah, I have never seen a machine that does not break down. So,
Absolutely.
but don't they see that they are hell-bent for destruction?
I don't think that they do, because I think that they're afraid of death. So the people that are doing this and who are creating this technology, obviously they are terrified of judgment. They're terrified of their end. They're terrified of what happens when they die. So with that tells me already that there's an issue. And the Bible scripture always sticks in my head. They will seek death, but will not be able to find it. And this is what I see happening with this. I see, like I said, we've got two different lines of creation at minimum. There's probably a lot more, Judith, but I know that we specifically definitely have two different kinds of human beings and different lineages. So
Yeah.
those two different lines are operating with a different genetic template. And I think that they've been trying to merge those high reptilian lines with the human lines, because humans have a immortal spark, because we have that Ba and the Holy Spirit, and they don't have that. They don't have that. So what they're doing is they're interbreeding genetically with us so they can tap into the immortal spark that we have. So until these people figure out how to get our spark from us, which if they transpersonal humanize you, they've got you, because they've got your spark now, your consciousness and your power trapped in their machine. So they have you. But like all things, if you are not connected to the spirit, even your immortal spark eventually will cease to be. And that will be what I think they term in the Bible as the second death. And that was because you gave up your immortality through a lie of a promise of immortal life when you already were. Then you're
Exactly.
screwed.
Yeah.
And those vampires are going to feed off of the light workers and the light human beings that hold that immortal spark, and they will feed off of those entities and energies, Judith, for a very long time. An immortal spark is not easy to diminish. So it will actually eventually become the will of the individual who did the transformation. They will eventually will themselves to die, but it'll probably take a very long time. And they might be trapped into another 26,000 year cycle of serving this machine because they didn't trust what they organically already are. But that's
Yeah.
a lesson for soul. And many souls are supposed to go on that path. So it's not right or wrong, good or bad. It's an is. And many souls need to learn many different things in many different ways. But unfortunately, those souls I feel compassion for, because they're going to have a hard time with this.
Mm.
Yeah.
But that is always the case. I mean, when you look at what evil does, there is always this element of self-destruction in it
It
down
has
the
to be.
line.
It has to be, because it's an error code. In
Yeah.
creation, it's literally like an error code, and it eventually will be resolved. There will. It has to be, to make the system run. Once that error code gets big enough, the system goes in and takes care of it, because it knows if it doesn't, it will affect the entire system. Why do you think Earth has been in quarantine for thousands of years now? We are a threat to the system, therefore we will be isolated and quarantined. And that's exactly what we got going on right now. And through that quarantine process, we've been taken over by some very dark forces that want what we have, and they couldn't get it from us unless they brought us down into their level, because they couldn't reach us. The only way they could get us is if they brought us down to where they were at. And man, they figured out how to do it. They figured it out.
I also think that we are dealing there with a lot of regressed races, and some of them regressed to a state that, you know, yeah, that they are close to extinction.
I saw an interview one time with an alien in a military base. And the interview was profound because he was a gray alien with a large head.
I saw
and,
that I saw that.
Yeah, and remember he said, "I am the future you." They're like, "What are you?" He's like, "I'm human." They're like, "No, you're not." He's like, "Yes, I am." They're like, "You don't look like us." He goes, "I am the future you after the transpersonalization of the human being. I am your future." And I was like, "Oh, I want no part of that. None of it. None of it."
Yeah.
Yeah, you have intelligence, but you can't reproduce. You don't get a human body anymore. You're trapped into an alien body, which doesn't hold emotion. It doesn't have what we have. And they want what we have. So obviously, if they want what we are, you are downgrading to participate in that, and you are losing something very, very, very valuable. You may not be able to get back. I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work. I really don't. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it does not, to me, there is nothing inside of me that ever would give up what I know my potential is. And I know that what I am, as I age and get older and get wrinkles and gravity never fails, I embrace it all, because I know it means that there's an end to this journey and I get to do a new one. These guys aren't going to get to do a new one. They're stuck in this shit show for God knows how long. That scares me and makes me sad for them, because it might be very not a happy choice, but they just don't know. You know, again, scripture, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do." They don't
Yeah,
know.
although I have a tendency not to forgive my rapers.
Right, right. Well, yeah. Well, I can totally do that, because I know that they got to deal with the creator. And boy, that can dish it out way better than I can, Judith. I've seen some of that go down, and I'm telling you what, wow, yay, there is justice. I will promise you. Oh my gosh, there is. There is. I've seen it.
Yeah. When you said that you have the impression that the moon is under a different control now, but I forgot the thought, but please, if you could elaborate a little bit.
I think it's been under control by a couple different sources. I think the one that got the fall actuated and totally manifested on this planet thousands of years ago, I'm pretty sure, is Orion. We're looking at Sirius A and B as being the projector system for this holographic experience. But I think it might have shifted now into the Pleiades, Andromeda systems. So there's a shift happening. So, and the projection will change according to the new light and vibration. It will manifest a different reality. They showed me it wouldn't happen quickly. It takes time. And they said the bifurcation, the splitting of the earth, one's going to continue existing in third dimensional reality, and the other one's going to move into the fifth dimensional expression. But that expression, it takes a little time. So, and they said when the splitting happened, nobody would know it happened, because they would originally, when they break apart, they're still going to look identical. And then one moves into a different vibrational plane, and one moves into a different vibrational plane. And then they start to grow and evolve through that. So third dimension will be experiencing the end of a cycle. And fifth dimension will be the establishment of the new earth and the new communities and the new governments, and which won't be governments. It's all these things are going to change. Systems, all things, everything will be completely different in 200 years from what it is today. It will be completely different. Completely.
Yeah, I mean, our systems haven't served us in any way, shape, or form. I mean, my goodness,
No.
everything is rotten, no matter what you look at.
We've been captured into an energy harvesting, soul capturing, sucking system, probably for maybe about 250,000 years.
Mhm.
And that's why I was told you would be the gods of the impossible, because nobody knew that this could ever be done. But we have the potential to do this. We truly do.
So let's say that split happens, although I have a little bit of a problem to visualize that, how
You
that
know,
is.
a cell. Think of a baby being born. It's a cell splitting. One becomes two, then two becomes four.
Mhm.
It's a splitting of a cell, and it becomes a new creation from that cell division. So it's one cell making two, but they go in different positions, just like the body can make a liver cell and a brain cell. It's produced the cell, and then the cells mutate and divide, and then they take on different properties and different potentials, and they express through that potential. So this is what I'm seeing. So it's going to split, and one's going to go one way and one's going to go the other, but they're still the same, but they're expressing differently through different vibrational constructs, templates, through thought. So one thought form is expressing a desire to move into a higher dimension. The other thought force is saying, absolutely not. You cannot change what I've got going on here. I worked a long time to get a hold of it, and I'll be damned if I'm going to let it go.
Yeah. So would you say that I'm pretty sure that this separation, yeah,
Mhm.
who is going where, will cut through families, friends, and
Yeah.
yeah, nations,
Yeah.
what have you. So
Yes.
let's say the 3D people, they do not miss their relatives, or what's going on then?
You see, Helen, on our planet right now, we're actually, this is the lowest population counts we've ever had in the past 142 years. We've never
Mhm.
had a low birth rate to this level. We have lots of people coming down ill and losing their physical bodies. We've got many, many, many transitioning off this planet right now, and many more. This is how the bifurcation happens. It happens gradually, slowly. The people that go into the different ones are going out of your life. And some of them are just transitioning higher to realms to help from another place too. So there's multiple reasons why lots of people are leaving, but this is why we're going to see a lot of people leave the planet, because it's about the sorting. It's literally, it's the harvest, the wheat and the chaff. It's the harvest.
So in other words, you have to die to enter into that new world?
I don't think so. Many people will do it in spiritual, and many people will do it in physical. It's going to be both. As I'm telling you, ma'am, I see as much potential as the creation has. You're going to see this bifurcation hit people in that many different ways.
Mhm.
It's going to be diverse in its expression because it is creation, and creation is very diverse. It is going to be a multitude of ways, multitude. Divorce, car accidents, cancers. I mean, all these different things are going to be putting people in different dimensions. Just life is going to bring it to its place. And like I said, it knows what it's doing. It does.
Mhm.
Hmm.
So do we have a time frame?
Oh yeah, all I
Hard to
can say
say.
is I know it's soon. I know it's soon.
Mhm.
And that soon could be, because soon for them is not soon for us. So by 2036, I think
So we are talking some decades here.
not even that's only, it's only
Mm.
12 years away.
Mm.
It's all happening now, but it's going to take that long for the pop. You know what I mean? For the absolute, like, things are set in their ways. It's like the new energy will be anchored in the new planets. And we might have already shifted and gone into our locations. We just don't know it yet. I don't know how that's all going to work. It's too big for my brain. But I do think that we're going to be going through this window of extreme transition, and then it'll balance, and then it'll transition, and then it'll balance, and then, you know, it's going to be doing this infinity dance for a little bit, probably, I'd say until about 2040. We're going to see a lot of different, but a lot of change. Things are going to be done different ways, and we're going to come up with some beautiful, creative new ideas. So this is a time to really plant your seeds for what you want to see in the future, because what you're planting today is what planet and what reality and what dimension and what existence you're going to end up on in the future. Because right now there is a sorting. There is a sorting. And Judith, to be honest with you, the bifurcation was one way that I saw it. But the other way that I saw it was when we moved into the Aquarian belt, which we just entered it, we moved into the Aquarius. Aquarius has its own solar system. It's kind of what I was shown. And we would be going into another 12 new dimensional realms of Earth. So I saw that some people would be staying more in like a Pisces. They would stay back in the third because that's what they wanted to do for their soul's growth and evolution. A lot of them go on transpersonal agendas, doing those types of things. But then you have the ones that are going to 5D. They want more organic, more nature, more that kind of stuff, more community, more, you know, less control, freedom, love. They're going to go into a different expression. But I saw that there were 12 potentials through that split, through each division, which brought the 24 elders back into place. It was weird what I was seeing. So even though we bifurcate, say if you go on the negative timeline, you're going to have 12 different positions of that negative position to go into. And if you're going to the positive, you're going to have 12 positions of that positive timeline to sit into. And it would be in resonance with the astrological sign. So are you going into Virgo energies? Are you going to Scorpio energies? All these powers have powers of personality. You know, they're templates. That's what you're doing. You're going into the new system and you're anchoring into another window of the Zodiac wheel, which will form your identity, personality, and your new attributes and your new expression in these new creations. It never ends, Judith, is what I see. Never ends.
It never ends.
I think it never ends. Yeah.
Trina, we have a lot of people right now that are being shocked out of their bodies. Maybe they are shot, maybe, you know, whatever is flying. How does that affect the experience of the afterlife if you're shocked out of your body suddenly?
Pray for them and send in assistance. They're going to be traumatized. They won't know what's happening. They are confused. They need to be brought into the healing centers so they can get their wits about them. A lot of them are going to be shaken, but that's part of your guides and your soul team. They know, they watching over you. So when that stuff happens, usually they're there before it happens, and they're there to take you as soon as it does, and they take you where you need to go so you can heal and get unshattered from that extreme trauma that blew your body apart, because you're attached to the body. So yeah, it's going to be very, very an adjustment phase will be needed, but they will be okay. But yeah, they're going to be really confused, and they're going to have stuff going on. It's going to be wow. But that's what our guides are there for, and our ancestors. They also can see these things coming, so they're there waiting for it. And if it does happen, because everything can change too, so they're sitting watching, going, "Is this going to happen or not?" If it does, we're here. We're waiting. We're watching, and we'll get you when you go, and we'll get you where you can get your wits back about you, and then you'll be okay. So I do believe it's very traumatizing for the soul, as it is for all people involved. The way it rocks us is it rocked them too. Yeah.
And I guess the same goes for car accidents and so forth.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, but it's, most people that have near-death experience and stuff, they're like, as soon as they're out of their body, they're like, oh, it's all right. They're like,
Not
no, this is
that
okay. I
bad.
don't want to go back in that thing. I don't think I do. You can keep it. So yeah, but a lot of those people too might have some spiritual essence, and children, oh no, they immediately know what to do. It doesn't matter what you do to them, they're completely fine. They're like, bye, out of here. Off they go, right to heaven. They're just off they go. They go right to the higher dimensions. They have they know they're wizards, guys. The children, they are wizards. They're the smartest ones, because they still remember where they came from.
Yeah.
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 They're the smartest.
Yeah, it sounds as if it will be very suspenseful.
Oh, Judith, we're crazy ones to be here right now. That's what they told me. They're like, you guys are crazy. You're brave. You are the ones. You guys are nuts wanting to be here at this time. But you know what? That's why we wanted to do it. The excitement, the adrenaline, and the challenge. Could you do what we thought could never be done? It's like, absolutely. I came here to win. Why not? Let's do it. All it is thinking correctly, not letting them run our reality through their propaganda, religion, indoctrination, news, all this crap. You simply unplug from them and plug in your own vision and connect to your own heart and say, show me what this beautiful manifestation could look like. How do we bring this new world in? And that's a great thing. When I was shown the bifurcation of the world by the Lord when I was 10, or I don't what. Yeah, I think I was about 9 or 10, I think, when I had that one. And he popped the world and then brought back the new one, and it glowed and it had a song, and the plants like knew your name, and everything was alive and conscious, and you knew them and they knew you. It was really weird, but really cool. But he told me, he said, that's what you guys need to do. You need to go back to your origins, go back home, feel it, remember it, and then bring it back here. So he told me, he says, I gave you the template. You have it. You know what the streets of gold look like and feel like. You know what the flowers singing and talking to you feels like. You remember. He's like, you have the frequency, you have the memory. He's like, anchor it into the earth. That's all you guys have to do. If only you would believe the power of what you are, all of this would be over so fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, we will see.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm,
Says, yeah.
I have days where I'm pretty relaxed, yeah, and just leaning back, watching the fuckery go on.
Yep.
Watching it unfold.
Yep.
And then I have days where I feel I'm losing patience, with my surrounding. And
you want to talk about losing patience? Yeah. Yeah. I feel you, but you know what's even stranger? You want to know the ones who are really losing their patience? All the guardian angels over humanity. Every single human being has one assigned to them. You know that most people don't even acknowledge that they have one. So they've been waiting your entire lifetime to get your attention. You want to talk about frustration? Oh, there's a big frustration going on there with that. Let me just tell you, there is. Big time.
Yeah, that might be. I'm not very fond of angels.
Oh, I love them. I love them. And I know that there's all kinds, and they're just like us, and that is okay. But
I think what we call angels are ETs. End of story.
Oh, I do too. Absolutely.
Okay.
But that's only in the material realm. In the spiritual realm, the angels are attributes of the Father's light. So it's angles of light.
Yeah. Okay.
Light.
When we start talking about angels.
Yeah, information. So as I mean, there's two parts of that angel. Yeah, there's the darkness part of it, and then there's the light part of it. Absolutely always going to be in this reality where we're at right now. So yeah.
So with that addition, I would say, yeah, okay, I can live with that. The other thing, what people usually understand as an angel, I do not want to have anything to do with them.
Absolutely. You know, when I was a little girl and I heard the Styx song, it's called Come Sail Away by the group Styx. It says, come sail away. I thought they were angels, but then they took me up in their spaceship. I'm like, oh, smack. See, they are. That's right. Those angels are going to be, if an angel is in a manifested form, see, I think angels or angles of light can possess many things. They can even take over human beings. So they can take on an alien body. They can take on a human body. They can take over the animal body of a lion. It doesn't matter because it's an angle of light.
Yeah. And then and from that perspective, it's easy to shapeshift.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I think that's how Eve was deceived in the garden to have sex with the serpent. He shapeshifted, so she thought it was her husband. Yeah. Angles of light. Shapeshift. Yep.
Yeah, there are other accounts that talk about the Nehushtan, or another word for it is not Nephilim.
Nachash.
Nachash, exactly.
Yeah,
And
is it
there are
Nachash?
many accounts that talk about the Nachash, that it is a bipedal being.
That would make sense. Yep. 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 Because I do see that. I do. And I think people can be taken over by angels utilizing protection for human beings and stuff. I've seen that happen. It happened to me when I was a little girl. One of my mom's best friends came to our house the moment I knocked myself unconscious with the diving board and fell to the bottom of a 10-foot swimming pool.
Wow.
The moment I did it. And she thought I was playing around when I wouldn't come back up. And she finally realized something was wrong. So she dove in the water and saved me. But she had never been to my house in 27 years because she worked at Honeywell till 5 o'clock in the afternoon, Monday through Friday. This was on a Thursday afternoon at 2:15. She was not supposed to be not at work. She had a doctor's appointment that morning, and she decided to come by my mom's house to drop off a Jafra order, which she never did, which all of this was really, everything had to be in a perfect place or I would have not lived because my mom wouldn't have been home for 35 more minutes. I would have drowned. There was nobody home but me. So I would have been done. I was unconscious in the bottom of a 10-foot swimming pool. I knocked myself out doing a backflip and hit the board instead of the water. She doesn't have memory of that, Judith. She said she can kind of get it in her head. She gets little flashes. She goes, it's really weird. I don't remember diving in the water. I don't remember my clothes being wet. She goes, I don't remember so much of that. And she goes, and I know it's real because your mom tells me about it and you tell me about it. She goes, but it's so weird how I don't have a lot of memory of it. I was like, oh, that was the angel then. Angel used you to save me that day. It's the only thing that makes sense in my brain. Why wouldn't she remember it? She remembers everything else from my childhood. I've known her my whole life.
Yeah.
She doesn't have a bad memory, Judith, as I'm telling you. And this is when she was younger. I mean, she was sharp as a tack. There was no reason why she wouldn't have perfect, clear imagery of that event, especially when something traumatizing happens. It usually sticks in your consciousness a little bit heavier. You know what I mean? And she's like, it's just kind of fuzzy. But I remember, she goes, but it's kind of fuzzy. It's kind of weird how I can't really remember it that well, but I can remember it. But I was like, that's interesting. So yeah, I really do think that these forces, they can work for good or bad. So yeah, and they're real and they can utilize anything they need to in this physical world. Anything, anything.
So in other words, so what I'm taking away here, among other things, is that we have our indestructible part, our soul, and but it is possible to destroy if we succumb to certain, yeah, let's say black magic rituals, because that is what it's boiled down to. The minute somebody makes you buy into a false reality, you're dealing with black magic. And then you start acting because you believe in that false reality, and then you start acting accordingly. And in that process, there will be harm either for you or for others, or both. And that is what the black magician actually prefers, that you do the harm to yourself because you bought into
Absolutely.
the false reality.
Right, because the whole gig is if you don't remember what you are, I can steal from you what I know you are, and it will serve me. So
Yeah.
until you can understand the beautiful gift of what you are and that you have an immortal spark within you that this system wishes to consume. So protect your spark, protect your soul, protect yourself, because the devil is going to imitate Creator. Creator has given you immortal life already. The devil is going to promise you immortal life in a false construct of a lie. And eventually that could destroy your immortal spark. Won't destroy you, but it will destroy a part of you. And that might take a long time to put back together. Long time. So with that, protect what you are and trust that you are something more beautiful and powerful than you could ever imagine, and guard that with everything you have, because I think it's going to be important. But some people, they are going to experience the transpersonal human agenda, and I wish them well, but I just know that's not my path.
No, that's not my path.
Yeah, mine either.
What everybody else does is their business and their decision. And
Yeah.
if they, yeah, let's say they bought into a false reality and they have been fooled, yeah, okay, there's not a lot that I can do about that.
Right. And what do they keep coming here to take?
Because
Our
many people
genetics.
do not want to know.
They don't. And you're absolutely right, Judith. And that is okay. And that is okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the many that don't want to know, a lot of my internal thought process says, so I wonder if they have the immortal spark within them, because it seems like the ones that do, those questions are getting very important to us in this time now. We're wondering, what is all this, and what does life mean, and what is our spirit and soul, and what are we, and what are we doing, and how is this all falling apart, and why is our reality falling apart? We're all looking at this stuff now. So I think if you can see a lot of individuals that have absolutely no desire to even entertain any of that, you're probably looking at a zombie.
Yeah.
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 There's
Well,
lots of
I'm
them
so
running
happy we
around.
had this conversation.
Me too. I've missed you. It's good to talk to you.
We were scheduled for last week, but then you had the funny technical issues.
Oh my goodness, it was a big one, Judith. Oh, blew stuff up. I mean, not fixable. Yeah, it was a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm really happy that it worked out today. And
Me too.
you have new equipment, from what I
Yes,
understand.
I do. It's like another day in paradise. We'll get through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that is, even there I see cycles. And what I mean by that is, let's say your vacuum cleaner breaks down, you can bet your head on it. And the next thing, it will be the washing machine or, you know, the dishwasher or whatever. You usually have a cycle, you know, where a lot of that stuff breaks down.
Absolutely. And I think right now we might be in one of those cycles, especially because the sun is coding us right now. These eruptions coming from the sun is a deliverance of the new light. And the ones that are vibrating at a certain specific vibration will be the antenna for this photon information that's coming into our system. It comes through us. It comes through nature too, but we're the consciousness part of it, that we can put it into the consciousness of the human collective. So it's us that brings in the light to deliver it to the rest of humanity, as well as the earth. But we're receiving new light right now. So be careful. It might trigger a lot of very powerful emotions. A lot of things could break, blow up. We've got batteries exploding on phones. We've got fires being caused from different things. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on with this new light. So just know that, and be patient with yourself and gentle with yourself, because this light will shake you up a little bit inside too. It's increasing your vibration and it's changing your DNA. So, and it's recoding the planet too at the same time. Like I said, this is going to be a gradual thing, but it's really happening. It's really happening, Judith. I'm seeing it happen. It's really happening. Yeah.
I think I just found the title for this show.
Right on.
Recoding the planet.
Yay! Recoding the garden.
Recoding the garden. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what we're doing. We got to recode the garden, because that's apparently where our paradise was called the garden. Eden is not a good word, because Eden means cage. So we want to stay away from that word. We want to make a new garden, which is based on the beautiful template of the original organic earth. So it's time to get back to the garden.
Yeah.
And a lot of the ones that will live through this will be the ones who have the ability to know how to produce and make food. So we're going to have to start getting busy with actually taking care of our own selves and our own planet. And that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to plant something here in our garden. And but my landlady doesn't want that. Only flowers.
You know what?
But you know, I thought, yeah, good luck with that. And the upcoming autumn and winter, I hope you enjoy your flowers.
Right. And then on top of that, you know, they see in China right now, they're caging people in apartment buildings and yanking out the only food that they have, which is their gardens. And today, Australia said they're going to pass a bill to make it illegal to plant your own gardens. Time to fight back, people. They only get control of this if we allow it. So stop complying to the stupidness. Who in their right mind would think that you don't have the right on this earth to plant your own food? It's biblical. It says, I give you all the plants of the earth to plant and eat and consume and eat the fruits. All of this is for you. Who do they think they are, thinking they can say that we can't produce our own food? Yeah, that's stupid. That's absolutely crazy. And the first thing I got to say about that is, okay, all of you who passed this bill, you now need to go sit in a 10 by 12 cell of concrete with no food and no water. And we're just going to watch you slowly die, because this is what you're trying to do to the rest of humanity.
Yeah,
that would only be fair.
Yeah.
So let's see how well this works out for you first. Yeah. So I'm pretty much thinking anybody who is creating these crazy, absolutely retarded laws need to be the ones to try it out first. And then if they can prove to us it's a good way of thinking and it works well for humanity, then we'll adopt your cause. But let's see if you live through it first, you moron. Oh, I'm so over it. Oh, this is stupid. I'm like, are you serious right now?
Yeah, it's high time to send our demented leaders where they belong, into the desert of the universe with no return ticket.
Absolutely. Oh, I completely agree with that. They've had their time and their time is done.
Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah, and it's getting stupider by the day.
Absolutely stupider by the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's how we win. We think outside the box. We understand what's coming at us and make arrangements and preparations and just go with your spirit and your soul and let the world do what it's going to do, because it's going to do what it's going to do anyways. So that's okay. But within your own personal consciousness, you will have a very powerful effect on what you see in this world. So keep your head where you want to be, and that is where you will go. But you can't let this world grab a hold of you and twist you up, because it's going to try. And the only way it can get you is if your frequency isn't right. And that's because they're trying to make you feel bad about all of this and all the death and the sickness and the forcing of this and taking people's food and all this stuff. This is all just to get us into a frequency so they can gain control of us. So it's like, you know what? Fake it till you make it. Keep seeing the dream you want to see. Keep putting positive energy into this world. Love yourself as your own brothers and sisters. Love everything as though it was you. If you can really start to love everything as though it was you, and know that some parts of you might be rotten, so that's okay. But just, still have acceptance for all of it, but really promote the positive things and really feel joy and love in your heart. And when these frequencies are kicking your butt, unplug, find something that brings you back into harmony with your own heart and you feel love. And for me, gratitude is the fastest way to get there. It's my straight line to spirit, is get into an attitude of gratitude. So whenever you feel hurt or hard and things are really, really looking bad, find the smallest things to be grateful for, even if it's the fact that you still have your breath.
Yeah.
Find gratitude. It'll help.
Oh, these are excellent final last words. So thank you very much for coming, Trina. And this was Night Flight for today. And we see you all next time. Have a good time. Enjoy your life. Bye-bye.